And we are live. Hello, the world. Welcome back to the next episode of Emrae, my custom world D&D campaign. This is episode 8, 7 of the recorded episodes. And just a quick recap for those of you who don't recall, when our party was last left, we were bedding down for the night in the sort of foyer area of this ancient sunken Uralite temple. Surprisingly, when you arrived yesterday, it looked like less of a sunken ruin and more of a maintained museum of sorts, with roped off exhibits and a little open stone room. Clearly, people have been here before. As you were hoping to find the three relics that Sturgis sent you to find, Leganor noticed the Ural's tear on the mannequin, and after a very dexterous and successful attempt, he managed to knock it to smithereens all over the place. But luckily, he had cast silence, so nobody noticed, and he did his best to put it back together. So you've acquired Ural's tear, which I think he said he put in his boot. Then you spent the better part of the afternoon goading the scholar students and such in different ways to try and open the ancient sealed door, which, according to Mortimer, is that the name I picked for him?
Yes.
Yeah. According to Mortimer, the scholar leader,
Hold on, I have notes.
I'm pretty sure it was Mortimer. Anyway, according to whatever that guy's name is, has never been opened before. And they were trying out different ritual prayer dances from the Uralites that they know, and none of them seem to be having any effect on the door. As it got dark.
It was doubling as a way to try to get them to open the door while also distracting them
Yeah.
He was trying to be all kinds of
Precisely. So it was both a distraction and it looked like you were actually trying to get in there. As it stands, the night got a little too dark for you to set back for home now, so the suggestion was for everyone to pile into the little foyer area and use the shelter of the temple for nighttime shelter until the morning. So we left the party with the everybody getting ready to go to bed, and we begin. So you should be able to see correctly what you're supposed to see and not see what you're not supposed to see, etc.
Okay.
Were we?
So we got.
Or did we try having Jeff cast minor illusion to see the dance moves?
I recall bringing it up, but I can't remember if we actually had a chance to try.
Did it or not? Yeah.
I don't think we did because I don't think we came up with a reason as to why we would know them.
Yeah, I think that was it. The last thing you guys were talking about after we broke was that, or was whether or not your backstory that you cobbled together to join the Wild Men would be sufficient to explain why you would have any knowledge of such things.
Uh-huh.
Well, we might have to do some midnight dance moves, fellas.
You look that way, Phyllis.
All right. Well, then you know what, Jim? What time is it? What is the phase of the moon? And is Mercury in retrograde?
There is no such thing as Mercury. It is roughly 8 o'clock p.m. and I can tell you the phase of the moon. If memory serves from last time this question was asked, it was waning gibbous, but I will verify that in a moment.
I was just joking. You don't have to look it up.
You don't get to go back on that question.
He has a calendar. You've asked him to use it. Remind me, waning gibbous is when it was full and it's less than full now.
So
sorry, it is just
decreasing.
It's just past new moon. Actually, we are waxing.
So we're waxing crescent.
Yes, we're not yet to half.
Okay.
It'll be half a week from now.
So it's the moonlight.
So
basically.
Yeah, very slim moonlight, if that matters. Which it sounds like it does. So I'm glad I figured that out.
All right. Well,
By the light of the silvery moon, happy is the day.
I think at this point I'm just waiting until people go to sleep. So I'll make small. Yeah. Wallace is making small talk with and just trying to entertain the young ones. Poke fun at them for making them dance.
Okay. After the dancing is done, they sort of pile into this room here, and they take up a couple of different spaces, um, all kind of together. Like it's to them, it's like the freshmen of college retreat. Everybody's got their sleeping bags. They're like, "This is neat, man. Let's get the guitar. It's like kumbaya." Um, Varen hangs out in front of the doorway. Well, look, about here-ish, I should say. Um, Farah and her sister Kales hang out in this room, but closer to the door, with Swift um, next to Kales, and Rolfo makes a little camp, a little bedroll about there, and leave the scholars. Because remember, there's like 6 of them, including Mortimer, to sort of pile into the relic room.
So their positions are where they're bedding down.
Yeah, I mean they're in several squares because again, there's a bunch of them.
Okay. I'm gonna bed down right by the door, so no one can walk inside and notice one little trinket's missing.
Okay, I mean all the scholars are already in there, but sure.
Inside the
Yeah,
room with the stuff.
they're in here.
Oh, because all the tokens are in here.
Except this token.
Because there's all the scholars are represented by just that
So
one.
I'm not seeing.
You don't see that token?
No.
Really?
Or maybe if I move this way. I don't see it either, but I think it's just because of the light.
Oh, it's because it's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause-
it's here.
I think the only one I gave light to was Rolfo and.
But isn't there a lit brazier in the room, or is that not lit?
There should be a lit brazier. You're correct. Let me see if I can fix it real quick.
Come on, physics.
Oh,
And
I know
not a
why. I know
character-
why. I know why that happened. Because in order to make the map run smoother, I deleted all the individual elements that I made the map from, took a screenshot of it, and just imported the flat image. So the token that was the brazier that was emitting light is no longer there. I can fix that in just a second.
Say just drop a torch in the middle of the floor, right?
Yeah, I'll fix that. I was like, it should be there.
Okay, with that being said, besides me right now, how many people are there's one person in that room?
No, there's
No.
6 people in that room.
6.
Oh, so they're all betting. Okay.
Yeah, they're
All
they're
the,
in
like, freshman kids.
they're in
and
a
Mortimer
variety
in
of
that-
squares in that spot. All right.
Just the adventurers are outside that room.
And
Emits
then
light 20.
There were the three components.
Where's
There was the tier which I have. There's the
Yeah, do we have that list somewhere in our items in our documents?
Yeah, it should be in your journal. It should be called
the 3 spell items.
yes.
Yamarabi's Tome, Dance of the Desert, and Ural's Tier.
Okay.
I don't
What
know.
subsection is that under?
It's under monsters and enemies for some reason, but it's under monsters and enemies sunken ruins.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
I
Thank you.
I didn't put it in the right place after I was done with it.
That's fine. Alright, so we've got okay.
So you found Ural's tier, or at least you believe you have,
Right.
which is in Jeff's boot. You're looking for Yamarabi's tome and the Dance of the Desert.
All right. So everybody's kind of settled in where they're going to be settled, right?
Yeah, so everyone's kind of bedding down. They're classic around the campfire evening. Nobody's, it's not midnight, so nobody's exhausted, but they're just chatting.
I'll pull out cards and start playing rummy with everybody.
So you're in here?
I'll pull out some
No,
gin.
I'm playing in here with these folks.
Oh, okay. That's cool. You can do that.
And I didn't realize it's a play on words with our good friend.
Playing gin with gin.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. Okay. Do you want to have any specific conversations or goals, or are you just letting the time pass?
No, I'm just trying to get the time past the people are asleep. That's all Wallace is up to. I don't know if
Yeah,
somebody's got weird magical messages going into my head, what have you.
it is a thing that happens.
Find out.
So everyone's waiting. Okay. Yeah, so, nothing super eventful. You overhear Varen saying a few different things about his previous life. You learn his last name is Farhaven, so he's of the family name Farhaven. Um, he talks a lot about his dad's estate and all the trading they do. I guess his dad owns several different plantations of different crops, dotting the countryside south of the Uralaben Valley. And he
I will
went.
offer to let him actually try to teach him to use that weapon that he has.
Yeah, that's really good. But anytime somebody mentions to him like that he can't fight, he gets like super pompous and haughty about it, and like you can't tell me like I don't need help from you. There's nothing you're gonna tell me that. Who are you shooting?
No,
It's the
it's that macro that I made. It's a floating icon at the bottom left of the UI.
Yeah, you can turn the button off if you want. You have it
It's not
checked right now. You have it checked in the macro setting in my bar, so it'll appear, which is how you use the macros. You click the button.
Okay.
All right. Well, he wasted a 1, so I'm not overly concerned.
Sure, yeah. I'll let that slide. He also wasted a 16, but that's okay.
Actually, it was only an 8.
What?
Nothing. Yeah, the roll's an 8.
8 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3.
1 plus 2 plus 2. Plus
So wait, you don't have. Interesting. Something's wrong.
Oh, because that, if you look at that macro string, the roll for advantage does not have the -5.
Noted. So I would go in your character sheet and disable auto roll for advantage for that purpose. You can toggle in your character sheet whether it's automatic or a toggled ability or whatever. There's like the character sheet settings.
Oh, I'm navigating a lot of buttons.
I think I can do it for you actually.
Character sheet auto roll for advantage.
It's on the right side. The very second row says roll queries. Always roll advantage. I set mine to toggle so you can turn on and off advantage or disadvantage as needed.
So advantage toggle. Okay.
Yeah. So then it gives you another bunch of bars where you can choose how you're rolling.
Oh, and then at the top it's advantage, normal, disadvantage.
Correct.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I like that better. Because then you don't feel like you're wasting good rolls. Anyway, so yeah, I mean they're playing cards with you, Wallace. Farah's very loud. She likes the way her voice echoes in the stone, so she takes every opportunity to cheer about her hands, and as such has a terrible poker face. Callus has an amazing.
This isn't no fish.
Callus has an amazing poker face, and you find it difficult to ever read what her hand says.
Mm.
Rolfo is just like a seasoned gambler, but just doesn't seem to care whether he wins or loses. He's just having fun.
What's
Good.
Varen doing?
It's mostly just to kill time. I really don't.
Yeah, so as I stated, Varen is like keeping to himself because he doesn't want to associate himself with the peasants, kind of a feel.
Okay.
And time progresses. The brazier
haughtiness doesn't want a hand. Not fair enough.
the brazier starts to dim, although it's still illuminating enough that you can see your way around the room. And you start to hear yawns and snores as people start passing out for the night.
So I'm gonna look around the room and start to notice as people pass out, and once anyone that's not the three of us is out, let me know.
Once anyone is out, someone's out.
Once all the NPCs are out, let me know.
Once everyone's asleep.
Not everyone, just the NPCs.
Once everyone except you three is asleep.
Yes.
Okay, well that predisposes that Mike and Jim that Wallace and Jin are not sleeping. So are you guys going to sleep?
I'm not.
Well, no, I would say that I think I'm going to be looking around and I'm kind of be looking at Leganor and Wallace and be like, we're going to try to stay up here.
All right. So you guys are all on the same page.
Yes.
Sure. Then
Gonna be going with
time passes. A couple hours go by. Jeff, since you're the one eyeballing this, make a perception check. Okay. So yeah, after a couple hours goes by, you kind of look around. You're peering at people's bedrolls to see if they're steadily breathing in and out. And as far as you can tell, everybody's asleep.
Okay. At this point, I'm gonna look over at Wallace and, using message, I'm gonna say to him, "What do you think? Distraction, or should I disappear to look for the tome?"
What tome? Like, it's not. It's behind the door.
Do we know that? It's a pocket dictionary, and we didn't. There's only so much we can say here. Okay.
Oh, you.
I'm gonna cast it again. I'm gonna say,
Is it a
tome
cantrip?
apparently is very small. It could still be in this room.
If it's a cantrip, we can just assume you cast it as many times as necessary for the conversation.
It is. Yeah, it is a cantrip.
Although I do like the idea, he has to be like.
25 words.
Sure. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Every once in a while, I'll just like make him have to use it again just to extend it. I gotta make fingers use his fingers. I mean, it's what it does.
Do we,
Right?
do
I
we
gotta
have
make.
to say over every time we're done speaking?
So, what you're telling me is you think that the dictionary is in this room too, instead of what is probably behind the wall.
I think it could be. We have not eliminated the possibility. I didn't get a good look at the table with all the cutlery on it and everything else.
All right. I don't know. I trust you, Fingers. You're the one that knows how to do these things.
Is there enough room around the table that if I were to, say, disappear and become invisible, that I could then search without stepping on anyone, or would I be stepping over bodies?
Whether you are visible or invisible, there is someone who you would have to navigate around to completely circumnavigate the table. Your visibility does not change the dexterity required for the activity.
No, I understand. I just didn't know if anyone was bedded down right there or not.
So yeah, I mean each square is 5 feet. We've got 6 people in there, so it's reasonable to assume that someone is by the table.
Okay. Can we roll to see if it's one of our buds or one of the NPCs?
Well, I assume you guys are physically where you are.
Okay, so I'm confused. The tokens show that right now it's myself and Varen.
No, that's not Varen. This is Varen.
Okay, but there's myself and one other NPC in
That
there. So...
one token just represents, for combat's sake, 6 different bodies. There are 6 scholars, including Mortimer. I mean, I can copy this token if you want, but there's 6 bodies.
Here, does that work?
That's perfect, Mike. You did a great job. So each one of those is a person.
I just did that. What you're doing.
Oh, why did I do that? This was a long block attack.
Because obviously 6 people can't all sleep in the same 5x5 square.
Of course.
You just want to inspire people. You want to use bardic ability to inspire people's dreams, man. It's all good.
While you guys were having your messages,
So what are you doing, Jeff?
Give me a moment. I'm trying to weigh this out.
You got plenty of time. It's nighttime. You have the entire night to figure out what you're doing.
So what I want to know is it this where I'm pinging? Is that an NPC or is that one of my friends?
It's an NPC. Your friends have their own tokens.
Look,
let me just drag you in here so you can see what this room looks like.
Okay, so all the NPCs are in that room and we're all here. Okay. Gotcha.
It's still not accurate, but I think you understand at least what you need to know.
Yeah, I'm here. Zach's here.
Mm-hmm.
You're there. else's NPCs? It's scholars that are all in your room, and it's the
Yeah.
fighters are all in
You've
here.
got all the scholars, and everyone else is in the foyer.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Yes, Mike.
Not
Oh, is that
you,
in
him.
game?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Jeff, you notice Wallace gesticulating wildly in your direction.
Also, I wasn't looking at Discord. I was looking
Oh.
at
Wallace appears to
It's like
be
he's
desperately
so
trying to get
nice
your
and
attention.
I say to him using message, yes.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time. Now, could you, if whatever it is you're doing over the wall, over the table, whatever it is, whatever it happens to be,
Did you stop speaking purposely?
I went over 25 words, man.
This is brilliant.
Pass it
Look
again.
him can't put together and say one word.
Okay.
You said whatever you're doing over the table, and then you cut out.
Cut out. Wait, no. I was trying to. Wait, can we just? Can I do the dance? You show me to do the dance, and we do the thing to get the door open.
We can do the dance. How do we know they're not going to see us right now? My whole point is, if they see you dancing in the middle of the night, they're going to wonder what the hell we're doing.
There.
I don't know who you're pointing at.
I don't know where I am. I'm pointing at Zach. I don't know. Where
Okay.
This is Mike. That's Jeff.
I'm pointing at fingers. I'm pointing at sparkles.
This is brilliant. And what's funnier is it's different on Discord than it even is in the stream. So like, who knows?
I don't think you saw me.
We'll never know if Jeff's looking at the screen, which is even better.
I don't know what Jeff's looking at, but he does not know that you're gesturing at him based on his lack of response.
Leganor could not be paying attention to sparkles, so it works perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get his attention.
I'm gonna decrease the size of Discord because it doesn't need to be full screen. And then I can command it. There we go.
I'm having
Okay.
way too much fun.
So I say to Wallace, do you think we should try this as it stands? Or should we create a distraction to get these other guys out of the room? Or
I think
should
a fantastic distraction would be open the door, and also Sparkles is trying to get your attention.
Okay, I look over at Sparkles and I say with method, yes.
Oh, okay. Can you do the dance invisible? Do you think it would still work? Or is there some sort of optical component to it?
I suppose I can try it.
What's the worst that happens?
Okay, let me.
Doesn't work?
Okay, so I'm going to then. I'm gonna nod to both of my friends very, very discreetly, and then I'm gonna get up, kind of stretch, mutter something out quietly out loud about needing to bleed the lizard, and then I'm gonna walk out front, walk around a corner so I'm out of sight, of course, since I have some decency. And then as soon as I feel confident that no one inside that room can see me, I'm going to cast invisibility because it has a verbal, a somatic, and a material component. So I don't want to do that right in the middle of the room, of course.
Sure. Okay.
And I'm invisible, right?
Is there any roll or anything? Can you just link it just so I can verify?
You just
Just so I can read it.
touch becomes invisible until the spell ends. Anything the target is wearing or carrying is invisible as long as it is on the target's person. The spell ends for a target that attacks or casts a spell.
Okay.
It's a concentration for up to 1 hour.
Okay. So you are concentrating on invisibility.
Actually, no, in homage to Lord of the Rings, my somatic gesture is going to be that.
Wallace didn't see this, so I can't.
You said it's this?
Jimba tool.
No, I like It's better.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a little different.
I guess like it'd be like this, but that works. Anyway, the point is now I'm invisible.
Yep.
We're all
So
mature, internet.
so all of a sudden, Wallace and Jin, Leganor disappears.
Well, no, you see me walk
Did it around
outside.
the corner. We watched him walk around the corner, and then for all we know, he's still peeing outside.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were here.
No, I walked outside, out of sight from
Oh, okay.
everyone.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You went outside the temple at large. I understand.
Yeah, to go bleed the lizard.
I'm
as
with
they
you.
say.
I'm with you.
Okay, so now I'm indivisible.
You're invisible. You should.
Libertine
You
and
could, in
justice.
theory, still make noise.
Yes, I could, but I can only have one concentration spell up at once. So,
Okay.
and I'm taking a chance that none of the three have a sea invisibility spell. You know,
Everybody's
How would I
asleep, man.
right. Anyway, now that I'm invisible, I'm going to creep back in as quietly as possible. So if I need to roll for that, let me know. I'm happy to.
Yeah. So that would be a stealth check.
Ooh, I'm pretty good at this.
Wait for
Would
the
that
one.
be at
Wait
advantage?
for the one.
Being invisible?
Yeah, I will give you advantage for being invisible. That makes a lot of sense. But you're fine with the 16.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back up to the door, and then would I need to roll a wisdom check or something to recall the thing I had made an illusion of earlier, like all the dance poses?
That would be a wisdom, but at advantage because
Because of
it's
the
due to it's related to the Earlites.
so
So just
wisdom,
do a flat wisdom.
a flat wisdom, and then we'll adjust.
Flat wisdom. Yeah, I would say at advantage, but you're
That'll
fine
work.
with the 20.
I think a dirty
Okay.
20 will do just fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm
you remember
invisible.
what they all are.
Okay, and I'm going to.
Or you're confident that you remember they all are.
I'm confident. Okay, so where Zach's token and my token is, that's in front of the door, right?
Correct.
I'll move out of the way.
Okay, and then
You don't
I
see
feel you
him.
shoved me.
I was gonna say, which do we? I mean, Sparkles. He never told us he was gonna go invisible, so for all we know, he's still peeing.
That's
I feel
true.
like
Yeah,
shoved
you
me.
might have felt him bump into it. If you occupied his space, you may have bumped into him.
Would I know that he knows the spell invisibility?
I don't know. Have you ever talked
He's
about it?
never told
I don't think you've
Wallace.
ever talked about it.
So, Wallace still thinks he's peeing outside.
well, I did say to Wallace at least. I brought up the possibility of should I become invisible or not.
You did. Wallace thinks you're peeing outside.
So all right, we'll settle
All you did
this.
was nod and walk away.
We'll settle this by
That I
taking
feel
your
was so.
16 stealth in that you are able to Assassin's Creed your way through the crowd and not disturb Jin. So you said you performed the prayer dance. After you completing the sixth motion of the prayer dance, you feel accomplished in having remembered the dance. And all of a sudden, a low rumble emits from the big door, which wakes up most everybody because it's vibraty and rumbly.
As soon as I hear the first sound, I'm gonna duck out of the way quietly, like, and kind of go back outside as if it was a really long piss.
Uh-huh.
And
I'm gonna need you to make a dex check because with that noise, everyone is stirring and moving about in your path. You got to get through several. You got to move your way through several people. Ooh, good. Let's see. Let's roll. 1, 2, 3, a d4. As you're making your way through, the rumbling is awakening folk, and you bump into Farah, which you're still invisible, but
is she awake or was she asleep?
she was
As it
stirring
was-
as you know she was awakened, but she was getting up. You bump into her, and she falls forward, like back to her knees, and is like,
So she was. I guess what I'm saying is, could I time it to cancel the invisibility since it's a concentration.
You can
so that
you can actively cancel invisibility whenever you want.
right. What I'm saying is, at the moment that we make contact, would I know if she would be looking at me right at that moment?
You don't know.
Is it okay?
You just know that she was getting herself up to her feet. You bumped into her and she like lost her balance, fell forward onto the ground.
Without knowing if her head was, if her eyes were looking at my
You
direction.
don't know what she knows.
But I don't know which way her head was facing.
I mean, it was in motion.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna. I'm gonna go outside, and then casually walk back in, canceling invisibility.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then what?
Oop, you're not dead. You're just not
What's
invisible.
going on here?
Yeah, so as you walk back in, everyone is stirring. The Swift is over here sniffing at you. Farah picks herself back up. Callus kind of moves over to here. The
This
scholar folks come over here. I'm gonna get rid of your stuff over here. Varen is like, oh my, look at this. This is wonderful. Mortimer comes forward. Is like, my goodness, the door is open. How did this happen? This is incredible. Students,
we were just
students,
laying here.
awaken.
Started opening.
What
maybe
happened?
Maybe the dancers had a time delay there, Mortimer. I don't know. We were just. I guess as good as mine. I'm actually a little confused myself as to why it opened. Like genuinely.
Yeah, Rolfo steps forward. Rolfo steps right into the room and starts like looking around in amazement. He's like, "Would you look at that? Who would have known there was actually a way to get through? I can't believe it. This is incredible. What a find!"
I'm gonna pull out my crossbow and be like, I really hate haunted places.
I look at Wallace.
Okay.
I'm like, is that you? Like, did you do this?
I shrug, like, shut up. Shrugs, like, oh. He must. I don't know.
The scholars flood into the room.
Wait, gentlemen.
Hang on, guys. Wait. Hold up.
We don't know what's in here. I may have once or twice stepped on a panel on the ground of a place that was underground or not so nice that ended up in the long run. So if we could,
So
you're curious and excited. Let's get behind me, can we?
Oh, very well. I guess that makes some amount of sense. This is just, you have to excuse me. I've never seen such a thing. This is a groundbreaking breakthrough in archaeological studies. The secrets that could be beheld within the town. He's like, he's like starstruck as an old professor would be.
Well, before we do anything crazy, I mean, okay, a door opened. Maybe this is super exciting to most of you. We're not going back to sleep? Is that accurate?
Who could sleep at a time like this? This room could have been sealed for the last 6,000 years. We could be the first people to step foot in here in eons.
How exactly did the door open? Was it a single panel that raised? Was it two doors that swung in? Did it slide?
It lowered.
Laterally? So it lowered top down.
Yeah.
Okay. How thick is the door?
What's that?
How thick is the door?
About 10 inches. 10 inches thick stone.
And then, would I recall seeing any big stones? Basically, what I'm thinking is, oh, well, we don't know how this works, wink, wink, so maybe we should find a big stone to put on the floor to wedge it in case it starts to close again.
That's a...
That wink, wink, did you wink at us, actually? So we kind of like...
No,
it's a valid thought, Jeff. I don't know what you see around you that would work.
Well, I'm saying, could I roll a wisdom check to see if I mean, I know it's a swamp, but like, were there any big chunks of stone outside that are big, boisterous Farah could carry inside and put on top of the lower door?
There's crumbled pieces of the ruin from the parts that have been exposed to the weather.
Right.
But
I'm saying something that's at least, bowling ball size or larger, anything like that, or is it smaller pieces?
yeah, I mean there's plenty of handheld sized rocks.
But nothing that's like a pretty hefty, basically something that's has a diameter large enough so that a medium
There's nothing the size of an atlas stone, but you could find things.
something where a medium sized creature or even a small one
There
could squeeze through a crack if that stone was wedged between the door and the ceiling.
um sure.
Okay, so you
Yeah,
get what
you
I'm
could.
saying. Like,
I know
you
what you're
only need
trying to
to
do. I'm trying to determine if there's that size rubble. And
Okay.
yeah, there are stones outside that would suit that size.
All right.
That provided if the door closed and the stone was in place, there would be a body-shaped space. You can find
Correct.
that.
Okay, so then I'm gonna say, you think we might want to wedge the door open somehow just in case? What if this thing is on a timer like Wallace said?
To whom are you saying that? Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter.
Everyone. To the
I was
room.
just saying that maybe the dances took a few hours to actually kick in. That the students actually the ones that opened this. That's all I'm guessing because no one was in here. It was moving.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I've heard of traps and sort of dungeony things that got all kinds of weird mechanisms, and we don't know what opened the door. Who knows what'll make it close? I don't want to get stuck in this godforsaken place.
Mm.
I think let's go find a rock or a piece of whatever's. You got an idea? You can find it.
So
Farah says, "You can't lift a rock like that."
I guess not. Fair.
I was about to suggest her, but I'm glad she
That was
suggested her.
that was the whole idea. The whole time. Get the beefy 1800 strength. Yeah.
It's not second edition, man. It's okay.
Get the Amazon. Get her on this.
Yeah, so you go with her, or do you just send her out on a task?
I mean, I can go help her look. With an 8 strength, I don't know how much help I'm going to be actually getting the stone.
Okay. So she goes out on her own. She comes back with a watermelon-sized boulder that she has hefted over her shoulder.
Okay.
Where do you want this?
I suppose on the portion of the door that sank down into the floor, just in case it raised. Yeah.
Ah, very well. And she places it down.
I love
So the
how
room-
everything's funny to her.
So the room that I'm standing in is it actually like covered in dust?
Ah,
Obviously.
somebody wants to know what the room looks like. Fantastic.
Please?
So it is it's a roughly 25 by 15 rectangular room. Another door sits here, made of stone. In the corner is I don't know how to explain it. It kind of looks like an upright sarcophagus, Iron Maiden shaped thing that's made of ancient gray metal that's oxidized and modeled, but intricately carved at one point um, to the tune of something. You don't recognize it, but for your human eyes to paint the picture, it's something like an upright sarcophagus or Iron Maiden shaped thing. The rest of the room is covered in a layer of thin dust that seems to have been undisturbed forever. You don't see footprints. You don't see any signs of travel. Ooh, fresh brownie.
Nice.
Ooh.
Anaglypher milk.
Plus 10 wisdom milk.
Maybe just earn brownie points, everyone. So.
Haha. Oh.
There's a sarcophagus in the corner, dust that no one has touched for thousands of years, and a fresh plate of brownies.
And milk that hasn't curdled yet. What is this?
What is this sorcery?
It must be.
Oh, those are good, honey.
And pasteurized.
Oh yeah, these are what brownies should always be.
Oh, it looks nice and fudgy.
Free, warm, and brought to me on a plate.
Spoiled man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're delicious.
Shower her with gratitude.
Of course.
Lauren, Christina brought Jim dessert.
Zach just looked off to the side and said, "Lauren, Christina brought Jim dessert." These are so good.
You got class.
That's awesome.
You got class.
Phenomenal.
All right. So,
This is what I wanted.
hey Mortimer, you should go look at that thing in the corner, and I'm gonna go look at the door.
Oh, yes. So Mortimer approaches, and puts on a little thin
Oh,
rimmed.
if you hear anything click after you touch it, let us know.
Oh, right. He begins. He gathers a couple of his scholar buddies, and they're looking it over. Looking at the hieroglyphs and the runes and the carvings and yada yada yada. This door is a stone door. It's like normal door size. It's not this giant tablet type door.
Does it have
An iron. I was drinking. An iron ring handle hangs where a door handle would be.
I say to Rolfo, I said, "Hey man, you ever been in here before? No, right? You ever heard about this room?
I ain't never
What do you
heard
think of
about
it?"
this room. I ain't never been in this room. I didn't even know this room existed. Frankly, I thought that big wall was just a carving. I didn't even expect it to actually be a door. The number of people I've taken to this lobby, no one's ever opened this place. This truly is the first time anybody's been here as far as I can tell. I'm not much for the archaeology type, but it's kind of cool to be the first one to come somewhere.
Is there a thick layer of dust on the ground?
Already said yes.
So no other footprints besides our own.
Correct.
Correct.
It seems, it at least seems obvious to you that literally nobody's been here forever.
Sparkles, Rolfo, you might want to back up. I'm going to open this door with my shield in front of me.
All right, let me back it up then.
Let's see. I'm going to get myself into position where I can look over your shoulder. I would kind of want to be where Rolfo is, but hey, Rolfo, switch places with me.
Oh, yeah, whatever you need, buddy. He loves you.
All right. Yep. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to that way. I'm kind of looking over your shoulder into this general corner.
Dungeons and Dragons, when opening a door is a saga.
Oh, sorry. Before we proceed, this is my fault because I didn't look at the dynamic lighting layer. There is also a door, same kind, here.
Ooh.
So there's this door that you're looking at, and there is also a door here.
Okay, opening the door that I'm in front of.
Very well.
All right, I'm going to ready action. I'm going to ready Ray of
So what do you like? You pushing it forward? You pulling it? You like you got your shield up?
Shield handle like.
I have Ray of Frost readied. If anything jumps out or attacks through this door, I will cast it.
Nice. Normal force to open the door does not open the door. Do you continue to try with more force?
I do.
Make a strength check.
I'm gonna get laughed at by the lady. Do you want it to be athletics?
Yeah, excuse me, athletics. Yeah. So you grip down, you give a good tug, and the door opens, revealing not the wall that you see, but actually a hallway. Hang on, I
attack the darkness.
I gotta handle the dynamic lighting. I gotta delete this thing.
Forgot my Cheetos.
Mountain Dew. All right.
So the door opens, revealing what you can see. A small hall.
Has a light source.
I do. A light?
Rolfo is also carrying a lit torch.
All right, I'll toss you one of my little pebbles, which I cast light on. Flip you over.
You cast it on his shield.
Ooh,
I was
clever.
You beat me to it. I was gonna roleplay that. Okay, this is what happens. So you throw me the rock. I'm like, sparkles. Make it sparkle.
Whoa. I come over, I like touch it like this.
Thank you.
All right. So your shield beams with light.
It's a spotlight basically, but weak.
It's a sparkle light is what it is.
Oh, what is the radius on light?
20.
It's 20/20, so 20 normal and another 20 dim, I think.
All right. So 40/20. All players see light. There you go. Okay. You should emit light now that everyone can see.
And I say with
Um,
message before the moment before he actually steps in the room, remember the floor.
Actually, it opened over here. Sorry.
I just I just look back at fingers, shake my head, keep going. But to his point, I'm like, I'm shuffling my feet and realizing I look kind of dumb, but
What'd you say?
like don't want to get. I'm just trying to. Well,
No, no. I'm good with one for now. Thank you. I'm sorry, Mike. What'd you say?
I'm trying to check for traps on the floor as I go.
Oh, so unlike the other temple that you've been in, which was mostly like smooth polished stone and there were like plates and stone tiles, this is like rough hewn giant blocks. Like the look of the floor that's in the map is more accurate to what the floor actually looks like.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna look up.
Looks like the same kind of stonework.
Okay. What the? Why is
Rolfo,
this going?
Rolfo is super excited, and he is following behind you. Once Mortimer, no, Mortimer is definitely engrossed in this thing, as is Varen now. Farah and Kalas are kind of hanging back. All right, I just gotta continue to move people. So yeah, so this opens up to the right, your right, so left as you're looking at the map, and another corridor heads down that direction.
So this direction, Jens, is a dead end. I'm gonna keep moving toward what appears to be going outside. This is odd. Am I going? Is it going down?
No,
Is there
you went down when so over here at the entrance. Off the map to the left is sort of an entry stairwell that leads up to the
Oh, we're
actual
already
entrance.
underground.
You're
Oh,
already
all right. So when
beneath.
Fingers went to go pee, he went upstairs.
He went out. He went out the stairs, like a
Got it.
stairwell.
Okay. I didn't. Okay, I didn't realize we were already underground. All right. Okay, that makes more sense. All right. In that case, I'm gonna move square for square, and stop me when you want to stop me.
Okay. So again the ground is
Hewn.
dusty, untouched. You don't see any footprints. It
I'm
just
guessing the air is stale.
the air is so dank and stale. It's damp down here. The walls are intact, but there's definitely moss. Like you're in a swamp, so it is moist and the ground. It's not. It's
smells
not
like a
nice.
cellar.
Yeah,
Like a
it's
basement.
it's grody.
Hmm. Pat splits up here, all. Everybody's.
So to your right, you see a small corridor that leads to a wall.
Small corridor to wall.
To your
Yep.
right, like here, this is a
Oh,
small
this
little
goes to the
narrow
wall.
corridor that leads to a wall that's right there. And the
Okay.
the wall has a handprint like carved in it.
Human hand?
It's a five-fingered hand that appears humanoid.
Yeah, I don't trust that. Mortimer.
Ah, what?
Can you send one of your students down here?
Well, I'll come. I'll be the first. I'll come. Stay here and catalog all that. And they take out like chalk and paper and they start doing rubbings of all the stuff on the sarcophagus thingy.
Wish I knew they had that. All right, doesn't matter. I got grilled cheese. I'm looking
Nice. Yeah, so he kind of squeezes past
Yeah, good one.
Rolfo and makes his way and squeezes past Leganor and he's about here. What?
Mortimer,
Yes.
don't touch it. I just want you to tell me what this is. Move out of the way.
Oh, he's like, look at thinking, takes his glasses off. He's like, it appears to simply be um, an open mechanism. The open hand was to signify the opening.
So if I put my hand in there, something's gonna open.
I, I, I can only assume. I've not been here before.
Oh. Mortimer, would this be the way that someone from inside could have opened that door?
Could I mean anything's possible? Like I said, no one's been here. I suppose that could have been what happened.
Alright. I'm gonna operate under that assumption. I ain't touching it. Nah, going back down this hallway, stay behind me.
Very good.
Pudding.
All right.
Nobody touch that hand.
My hand
Right
go right over it like this.
You're funny, Sparkles. You're cute.
So
you got a sense of humor.
where you're at now, Wallace, a corridor turns to the right and to the left. So you've come to a T intersection. So to the right, you see the same thing: another small corridor, a wall with a handprint in it, carved.
Oh.
Mortimer, why is there another one?
What? He steps forward and he looks. It appears to be the same. I assume whatever the other one does, this one does similarly. I apologize. I mean, this is not something that I've seen before. I don't know for sure.
Well,
What was that,
I don't
Mike?
touch that either.
I can only speculate.
You sound like you had an epiphany, but I'm not gonna roleplay that.
Jeff has an epiphany, but I don't know if Leganor has that epiphany as well.
Okay.
What am I looking at?
As you come around the corner, this rubble over here is collapsed cave-in. This room apparently used to be larger, but has been cut off by an ancient cave-in of the chamber. Columns hang out in the more open area of the room, here and here and here. It appears to have been some kind of, it's hard to tell, being so empty and ancient. There's like remnants of some old wooden bench-like things that have been rotted and molded away into virtual nothingness. With the cave-in, it's very damp in this room, and seemingly it would be difficult to have preserved stuff for a long period of time. So it's just the air is really foul and it's really moldy and just rotting.
How tall is the room?
The ceiling here is roughly 15 feet or so, and it's got a slight vault to it, so it's a slight bow, with the center of that arch being here, and running north to south. So like
North to south.
the west and east sides of the room are lowered in the ceiling of the arch.
Do the columns look sturdy? And could you describe those again? I'm sorry.
There's stone columns that run from floor to ceiling. They're all physically floor to ceiling intact. They don't appear to have crumbled away. As whether they
They're
look
not ornate in any way. They just look like they're holding up the.
yeah, they look structural. They don't appear to be ceremonial at first glance.
And okay, so I'm trying to
They're
look
caked.
it up.
They're caked in
around.
moss and mold as well. 'Cause
Okay.
it's just gross in here.
And it also looks like this floor is dusty and undisturbed.
Make it an investigation check.
Oh, I would love to.
As far as you can see, you don't see any footprints in front of you. It's less dust and more just like dirt and grime and gross, mostly from the cave-in. And clearly, in 5,000 years or so, there's been moisture in this room, and it's just disgusting.
Does anybody see any giant mosquito kind of bat-like things?
What? Mosquito bats? What? Mortimer's like, what? Oh yeah, Rolfo.
That's a no there.
Rolfo is up with Jin. Farah and Varen and the other scholars are hanging back because they're protecting them, doing their job. I don't know. What am I looking for? What am I looking for?
Mortimer, can you tell me what this room might have been?
He puts his spectacles back on and he looks around. Judging by the size and shape, this appears to have once perhaps served as the ceremonial chamber, as this temple was believed to be a burial temple. This would probably have served as a modern day chapel of sorts. So they would have service, memorial service, and things that they would actually be able to perform their ritual dances. I expect where you see that caved in portion that the room would have extended further in the what I'm going to call south in that direction. This was probably once quite a large, long room. It is incredible to see such columns, and he steps in front of you to inspect the columns.
Mortimer, get behind me.
Sorry, I just get so excited.
We don't know if there's anything living in the rubble. We don't know if there's anything living in the ceiling. It's just we don't know.
Okay. On the eastern side of the wall, it comes up to a corner here, and then juts down this direction. Comes up to another corner here, and then there's an opening that leads further right here.
Is the rubble here? Is it fully collapsed, or could we see like that there's room on the other side of it?
No, it's like
Is there any
floor to ceiling cave in.
Okay.
Like not only do you have stonework from the ceiling that's
Filled.
collapsed in,
Yeah.
but you have earth from behind.
Okay.
It's yeah,
So inaccessible.
as far as you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Mortimer is following you closely, Wallace, because he wants to see anything that he can. Rolfo's sticking close to you, Jin, because he loves you.
Yep. I'm kind of taking up the rear here.
What's that, Jeff?
The columns are they completely encased in moss, or are there any patches of stone poking through?
No, it's modeled. You can see the stonework.
So is it plain stone? Is there anything carved on it when we get closer? Maybe.
Not that you can tell at first glance. They appear to just be, structural stone columns.
All right, I'm gonna take out a small knife and just kind of scrape away at some of the moss.
Mortimer comes around a column and slaps your hand. Says, "Do not disturb this. This is what are you doing?
I don't know.
We are the first people to set foot in here. I'm surprised that I'm even. Don't disturb anything."
Oh, okay.
Like,
You could damage it.
I'm sorry you're not liking it.
All right, as you come around the corner, there is a stone door to your left, similar to the one that led you down this hall to begin with, and the room just kind of opens into a hallway that leads south. In front of you is another. I believe that's a door. I have to check my dynamic lighting.
it doesn't look like it. I can see to here.
It was supposed to be a door. But we'll just say it's not a door. It's an open door. There's an open door. There you go. There's a big stone door that's swung wide open. Inward.
Oh, okay.
And there's a hallway that leads down to
right,
what looks like a T, and then you can also turn and go around in this direction as well.
Jim, where I'm thinking, what is this?
That's a door.
It looks wooden.
It's just an icon I use. It's a big stone door. It looks just like the door that led you in this hallway to begin with.
Okay.
Do I see another one of those Iron Maiden things right there?
Yes. Same size, shape, and type as what you saw in the first room.
I'm Mortimer, where to?
What?
We got a lot of options here, Mortimer. There's a door, there's 3 different doorways. Where do you want to go?
Everywhere. This is incredible. I can't say that there's a standard floor plan to their temples. I certainly couldn't tell you what's in what direction. I would expect somewhere there would be an antechamber. There should be a burial chamber. There should be. Who knows? I mean, what else the temple could be used for? There could be a number of rooms and locations. I'd love to see it all. What's behind this door? Love to know what's in there. And he reaches for the handle.
Alright, everybody get behind me.
all right. I'll get behind you there. Rolfo comes up over here.
Again, I ready Ray of Frost. If anything jumps out or attacks, it gets cast.
Does it look like a pull or a push?
It looks the door itself is exactly the same size, shape, stone, etc. as the other door that led you in this hallway, but instead of a ring, there's like a vertical handle carved into the door that you could grab.
All right, I'm gonna try pulling it.
It doesn't pull forward.
I will push it.
It doesn't push inward.
Is there just the one handle, or is there two?
Just the one on the right side.
This door doesn't budge.
Oh, what a shame. I would very much love to see what's inside.
Do I see him pushing and pulling to no avail?
Yes.
All right, then I casually walk up, grab it, and try to twist it.
The door doesn't twist, the handle, no.
You wanna tell me what you're thinking there? Fingers?
Well, if it doesn't push, and it doesn't pull, and it doesn't twist, then I'm out of ideas, or it's locked.
I don't know. Up, down.
It does not slide up and down.
Does it shake
Alright.
right?
Left, right, up, down.
But there's
Up,
like
up, down,
there's
left.
give. It's not like sit solid. It's moving. It just doesn't seem to go in any of the directions you've pushed.
Does it rotate like the
I'm
actual
sorry.
handle?
The handle itself is moving, but not the door.
No, the door is like the handle is carved into the same piece of stone.
Okay.
But the door itself,
slide.
yeah, exactly. You got it. It's a sliding door. So you slide it, and it does very smoothly move for a stone on stone contraption. And that reveals.
Internet is how we do puzzles.
So I'm just gonna delete the dynamic lighting.
Roll, kick, and yaw.
That reveals this room.
Stay behind me. I know what you're doing, Mortimer, but don't do it.
Or Mortimer's eyes get huge. And what you see in this room, in the middle of the room, is a large stone rectangular shaped thing with prayer dance carvings all around it, and that god of Ural or whatever carved into the top of it, the top tablet shaped thing.
Look over it, fingers. Look over it, sparkles.
Around
To the center.
around the room are 5. Oh, I gave you too much information. What I meant to say was a large stone rectangle caked in dust. Around the room are 5 pentagonal shaped objects, also covered in a thick sheet layer of dust. They appear to be 5 or 6 feet tall, maybe a couple of feet wide. They're various sizes, but roughly that size and shape. They're 5-sided, and they're shaped like straight up prisms. So like a shape. I can't describe the solid. It's a pentagonal cylinder with a pointed top, and that sits on top of another step. So there's a base to it that's like 6 inches tall. And there are 5 of them around this big thing. And
Everything's caked in dust, and there's dust on the ground.
Yeah, it's just so dusty, dry too. Unlike the rest of it, it's all dry.
Okay.
So as you moved away from the rubble, it got drier and nicer inside.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mortimer, do we know if there's any sort of Eurolite, I don't know, curses, maybe things that are of the supernatural variety that protect what looks like dead peoples?
But I mean, there were always rumors, but I assumed them to be tall tales and fairy tales. But everyone knows that one should not disturb the burial chamber, which I believe is what we found. My goodness, I can't believe we're in the burial chamber of the temple. That could be the.
What's the rumor?
The rumors? Well, the whole reason these structures were erected to begin with was to protect the spirit of the dead important person who could afford such rooms, as they tried to gain their rest in passage into the next life. For the Uralites believed that after death was a period of transformation to traverse to the next plane, and that trip would go smoother if you were protected and left alone. So the superstition was that you can't disturb the dead body as it's trying to make its way, and obviously there are.
Yeah, that's nice and all. Where'd fingers go?
Right next to you.
Oh, are you under Mortimer? Yeah,
Oh, okay.
sorry.
Sorry.
Mortimer got so excited he wanted to walk in the room, and he pushed his way
Joke.
into Jeff. This is incredible.
Okay. I would. All right, boys. Here we go. Step.
All right, so I got some. I have some box text. I think it's this room.
Wallace is expecting a ghost to start attacking him right now.
I mean, I'm still holding Ray of Frost, like,
Yeah. So
ready to throw this thing.
I'm just calling it the square room, just so I know which room is which. So as you move around in this large square room, the sound of sand and dust scraping the stone beneath your feet muffled the echoes heard elsewhere in the ruin. The floor and walls are caked in dust. The center of the room, a large stone, what looks to be a sarcophagus-shaped thing, rests with a thick layer of dust and sand covering its face. Around the room along the walls sit 5 pedestals of some kind, each resting on a short stone lip. These are also coated in a thick sheet of dirt and dust.
The sound of sand and dust scraping, okay, on the stone beneath your feet muffled the echoes heard elsewhere. Okay.
Yeah, so the sound is like deadened in this room because there's so much sound-absorbing dust and dirt everywhere.
Okay, so I'm probably coughing. All right.
It's not in the air. Like nothing's disturbed the room.
Okay. So stepped in. I'm Monoma, come on in.
With pleasure. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm here. Can I go all the way in? Can I look at it?
Give me, I'm gonna step here. I'm gonna standing, waiting. Nothing. Step here. Waiting. Step here. Is there a door over here?
Yes.
Okay. Am I smart enough to know that that lines up with the previous door? Because that looks like where we've already been, right?
I'm sure Mike is smart enough. Is Wallace smart enough?
Wallace, who knows? Okay, that's fine. All right, you're good, Mortimer. Looks like nothing's about to jump out of
This is incredible. And he sorry about that. I didn't mean to ping. He puts his his hand in his big floppy sleeve, and he starts carefully wiping the dust off of the surface of the stone thing, and that reveals, as he does, what I said before, all of the stone prayer dance carvings into the lid and the sort of that same depiction of that goddess figure on the top. He moves around to the side that you're on and bends down to try and read the hieroglyphs. At this point, Rolfo even takes a step in and he's like, "Well, this is a hell of a thing to see, I gotta tell you."
Does this another look like a sliding door?
Looks like a ring door, like the other door that led you in initially. There's a ring on it.
Okay, I'm gonna try to open it.
Okay. It doesn't pull open, but as you push it, it swings open. So I will just delete the dynamic lighting block. And Farah's on the other side and says, "Ha ha!"
Hey,
with her maul. Ah!
How did you get? Oh, we're back here. Okay. Yeah, come on in.
Oh, very, very good. I would love to.
The dust is fine. Oops.
She steps to here-ish. One of the scholars comes in as well. The others are still looking over that sarcophagus thing and chatting with Varen. Everyone's spirits are very high. Everybody's very excited. I'll just put a scholar here.
If it's alright with the rest of you gents, we're gonna make sure there's nothing dangerous down here.
Dangerous like what?
Call me superstitious.
You're superstitious. Okay, gang.
So like eyeing sparkles and fingers, like
Yeah. So Mortimer and Farah stay in there.
tink.
Where are you now, Mike? Okay. So yeah, so this room comes down this way. As you move further south, it gets less dusty, more musty.
Okay.
This little alcove seems to end in a little stone alcove, I guess is the best way to explain it. And then there's a path that leads further beyond behind you.
Where I'm standing, is there anything right here?
Stone wall.
Okay, so nothing.
Right now that we're around a corner, gents, I think one of the things we need is the reliefs in that room. Yeah.
I believe
Oh,
so.
the dance.
There you go, Sparkles.
That's it. All right.
We'll have a look see once they've had their fill in that room.
You hear boisterous chatting and happy speech echoing through the temple from that direction.
How do you spin your icon, by the way? How do you rotate?
There's a little blue box sticking off on a line when you highlight your icon.
Much obliged.
Okay, so
with
the
these
room
reliefs,
this
you
part
know,
of the
with
room
these
sort of
dances.
expands to the left into a little chamber area. That same sort of arched ceiling extends running left to right with two stone columns in the middle of the room. Over here is an opening that leads north, and then around the corner is another opening that leads like west northwest.
So, is there anything like, I don't know, old furniture in here, or is it just an open space?
Where the temple is musty, there's like piles of what could have once been wooden that's all rotted away.
Okay.
Where it's drier, there's more preserved remnants of like wall hangings. It's still in tatters. You know,
Okay.
it's gonna look like ancient Egyptian stuff would look in terms of quality of preservation.
Okay.
So anything that's organic is in real rough shape.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Still not hearing any scurrying. We're making the first footsteps in any of these places. Okay.
Yes.
Remembering the stages, I'm looking up because of the
Yeah,
lighting
that's
in
my
there.
other fear.
Yeah, it's so
Wallace has been traumatized by stages.
it's good. It's good practice to look up, but the above you the ceiling seems to be intact stonework architecture.
Keep up, Sparkles.
I'm here. I'm looking around.
So this hallway leads north and eventually ends and curves to the left.
Let me get one of these. Wait, hold on. There's multiple of these things now.
Yep. So there are two of those Iron Maiden-y sarcophagus thingies, flanking.
Is this a door?
Yeah, I was gonna say
This looks.
flanking a stone door similar to the other stone doors you've encountered.
Get behind me.
This corridor down here, does it look like it connects with the room we just came through?
this door is the door that you were just looking at. The one that, like, everyone's in that room. That's where everyone's voices are coming from.
No, I know that. I'm saying, so this where I'm pinging,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where I'm standing, does that look like it connects with the room we were just in?
Oh yeah, because you went up.
Yes.
You went up north. Yeah, it's like a circle.
Okay.
It's like a circle. It goes on forever.
Wallace, what are we looking at over here, Wallace? You gonna open another door?
I'm gonna open another door.
All right,
All
where's the
right.
door?
It's right here.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna set up and ready spell. Same situation.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull first.
It pulls open. I'm gonna take care of the lighting.
I'm waiting for it, gents. Nothing's. I'm used to buildings. I'm used to places that attack me. This is weird.
We're ready.
I'm scared that nothing's happened so far. I'm scared it's all gonna come crashing down at the same time.
Yup.
You see from where. Okay, so as you enter the room, here we go. As you enter this room, you're stunned at the odd silence that befalls it. The floor, ceiling, and walls, polished smooth in most places, are otherwise covered in carvings and engravings depicting what appears to be Uralites performing various prayer dances, based on your previous encounter with similar carvings.
Oh gosh darn it! What fingers? Which one? I don't.
Do any of them look familiar?
Do any of them look familiar? While while most of the carvings seem to depict daily life of the Uralites, minor rituals, prayers, and social dances, along this back wall are 5 more prominently carved sequences laid one atop the other in rows of images. Sorry, did I say 5? There's 7.
So there are 7 rows.
There's like 7 rows of sequences carved in the back wall.
So 7 series. Okay.
Yeah, and you do see over in this corner the prayer dance that you've used to open doors and activate entryways. And at the end of the sequence that's carved in, you see a hieroglyph of like a tombstone sliding.
Interesting.
Not like, sorry, tombstone's the wrong word. Like a stone door, sliding stone door. I don't mean to say tombstone.
All right. So do any of those have? Okay. So what are the pictures at the end of each one of those then?
At the end of each one of what?
There's 7 rows of dances.
Sorry,
Yeah?
so what I just talked about was just explaining that Jeff said, "Do I recognize any?" And he does recognize
Right.
the prayer dance that he did that opened the original temple ruin and opened this door. And here in this room appears to be that sequence with like also the fact that it opens doors.
Are there any other sequences?
There's the whole room is covered in sequences.
So okay. Oh.
And there are 7
Gosh,
there's
okay.
7 like bigger important looking ones carved in the back of the room. So there's
Do they all have a hieroglyph at the end of them that may indicate what they do?
they all look kind of different. It's not like a standard.
Okay. Because we're looking for a desert. What the heck does a desert look like in a hieroglyph? Oh wait, we can ask somebody, but they're gonna want to know why we're asking this. We should probably get Mortimer in here.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Wait, before we do that though, we're looking for a book, and nobody's bothering us right now. Going north.
Okay. So as you head north, this is a large sort of communal looking space. There are a variety of entryways and halls leading in different directions,
Didn't need to go there.
as well as stone columns holding up the more open areas of the room's ceilings. A couple more of those sarcophagi things appear here and here. If I can ping
Hey guys,
successfully.
these sarcophagi. I'm not digging them. There's a lot of them.
Well, I guess yeah. I don't know. Going this way.
The Hall girls to the left. Yeah, I'll just let you move until you come across something that matters.
Hmm. This also goes around, gents. Gonna go back. Okay. This is just, I don't know, another open space.
Yep, another big sort of antechamber. It's a lot drier in here than it is further south in the temple, and there are actually more sort of preserved, wall tapestries. You can almost make out what was carved if you were to wipe the dust off of them. Another one of those sarcophagi thingies is in this corner.
Okay. Alright, going this way. I'm here. Okay, what? Why would they have a door that just goes around the whole back? Is there anything special about this hallway?
If there was at some point, it's hard to tell, being how ancient everything is.
It's weird to me that there's like this and then what looked like this from before. Alright, Wallace. This is Wallace talking. Wallace is talking to the therapist and he's confused. Where? I'm starting to think he might have been right, fingers, and that book might have actually been in the museum.
Well, let's keep going.
Might as well keep walking around this place. We're
Everybody
by
make
ourselves.
everybody
Nobody's
make a
bothering us.
perception check. Okay. So all of you hear
Nice.
the loud and boisterous excitement of voices excited from back the way you came.
What do you think, guys? Should we head back that way? Check out, see what they
Yeah,
found.
I imagine that's going to be important.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm assuming everybody's keeping.
Yeah, I haven't been moving him along, but Rolfo's been with me the whole time.
Oh, okay.
What?
Rolfo's been following. I haven't been moving him along with you, but Rolfo has been with the Jin. He's been following behind Jin.
There are things that I would not have said had I known he was with us.
All right, we'll retcon it. That's my fault. Let it be. He wasn't with you. I wanted him to be with. I wanted him to be following Jin the whole time, but it would change the course of the game, so I'll let it slide.
Okay, so there's nothing. All right, there's nothing in this room. All right, so we're going back this way. All right, did they find this?
Doesn't appear to be.
No. Okay. What'd they do?
Oh,
What's going on, everybody?
this is kind of cool. So as you come around the corner, Mortimer has dust all over his tunic, and he has wiped the dust and dirt off of this pedestal. This one here in the bottom right corner. And behind all that caked on dust and dirt is a glass case, like a amusement, not amusement, like a museum exhibit case, but nothing like the one you saw in the actual museum room. This is like ancient construction. As he brings light to it, you can see inside of it a pale white wooden quarterstaff under the glass, polished smooth, it shines in the torchlight. Seems to have been carved from a single piece of some white wood. Um, it twists the whole length of the shaft. Its head is like an intricately carved into like a woven basket, and inside the basket is this pale speckled stone of some kind. And Mortimer's eyes are like a kid in a candy shop. He's got scholars sitting all around it, sketching it. He's like trying to clear all the dirt and dust off of the whole pedestal, and he's like
I'll be right back.
totally thrilled to death.
So, does anybody want to cue us as to what's so special about this piece
There
of
you
wood?
guys are. You guys wandered off. Well, Mortimer is here. He's like, I've discovered this. This is the rod of life. It must be. It's the only thing that could match this description. This is incredible find. This room isn't just any burial chamber. This could very well be the tomb of Ural herself.
Blah. Okay.
Mm.
So I'm guessing that we were explained what the Rod of Life was?
You have. Let me see. I, would he have gotten into the rod? You would have heard the word the rod of life, and know that it was a powerful relic of the Uralites, a special thing.
Do we know if any other artifacts that Ural herself would have had?
You're not familiar with like Sturgis mentioning anything about Ural carrying the rod of life, so you don't know. You can't confirm the veracity of his claim that it's the tomb of Ural, but it
Oh, okay.
definitely seems to because like Ural was a deity in the way that the Egyptian pharaohs were deities as well.
Got it.
She was like the first fantasy pharaoh of the Uralites by their lore, in terms of what Sturgis has told you.
Okay.
And when Mortimer says this could be the tomb of Ural herself, the other scholars say like, no, it can't be Ural. It must be some other name, like Tutankhamun or some other pharaoh name. It's Ramses. No, it's Tut. It's Ramalamanan. No, it could be Ural. See the thing on the tomb? They're like scholarly discussing about what it could be. But Mortimer seems convinced that this is whatever the Rod of Life is.
Who is Yamurabi?
Who is Yamurabi?
Was that explained to us? Since we're looking for.
Yeah, he would have gone into some detail about who Yamurabi is. Yamurabi was a wise king of the Uralites, not a spiritual leader um, like the Uralite pharaohs. He was more a political leader and was deeply invested in the physical structure and construction of the civilization of the Uralites. And Sturgis believes that his tome has notes that pertain to the magics that opened the teleportation portals, and it was that ease of travel that helped unify the Uralite civilization across the land and make it as strong as it was way back when, before technology of today existed. Which is why he believes his sort of tome, which you know could be his diary, could be his notes, could be his memoirs, but something to do with Yamurabi, would contain what he's looking for.
Okay. So Mortimer, do you want us to start cleaning off the dust of all these other, I don't know,
Oh,
encasements?
yes. Oh my God, I didn't even think of it. The other ones could all have things in them.
You didn't think it doesn't matter.
I've been so engrossed in. I couldn't believe the rod of life.
So yeah, I'll start just going around and wiping dust off to looking for a tome in one of these.
Okay, where are you going?
I'll go to this one since it's the closest. And what's the purple square now?
That was my placeholder for one of the scholars.
Okay.
So you wipe off the dust on that thingy, and
Just enough to see what's inside. I'm not trying to clean the whole thing.
Okay. Inside you can see, with the yeah, you have light on your shield, so you have plenty of light.
I do.
So inside you see a pristine-looking medium-sized shield resting under the glass. The corners of the shield are covered in small brass plates riveted onto the steel shield face. The center sigil, a brass carving, depicts a robed figure wielding a long staff that appears to be, and what appears to be this same shield, leading his followers in a charge with rays of sunburst behind the image.
Oh, that looks pretty.
Yeah, it definitely looks pretty. So wiping away that dirt, and as you uncover the shield, like scholars are flocking. They're like following behind you, like, oh my God. So to speed the, are you just gonna go through all of them?
Yeah,
Okay.
I go through all of them.
To speed it along, under this one is a wrapped around a wooden stand rests a shimmering cloth of gold sash, the ends neatly hemmed and adorned with rope tassels. The pattern of the fabric itself is a crosshatch of white and gold threadwork. Behind the glass on this one, resting in a small wooden display, sits a dagger, its blade viciously barbed, jagged edge. The metal shines a dim green in the torchlight, and it is ornately carved of what appears to be ebony, stained with a similar dark green. The pommel is an image of a beast's wicked open mouth bearing large fangs.
Oh.
And then here, under this one, is a small book bound in black leather with edges emblazoned in gold leaf, sits on a small wooden stand inside the glass case. Embossed in the leather is the title of the book, which is written in a Eurolite script.
Gonna make eye contact with the other guys.
And Mortimer is like, "My God, it's it's the rod of life. Oh, over here. It's the Aegis of Aeolian. I can't believe it. Oh my goodness, this is the Griffin's bite. They're all here. The 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 sash of the seer, the Griffin's bite, the Aegis, and um what is this? Um could I have your light, please, Sir Wallace?"
He called me Sir. That's cute. Think.
Yes. Hmm. I don't recognize this one. Seems to be a tome of some kind. The general. General. This looks like the general's notes. Why is that under glass?
Which general? Who's a general?
Well, Yamarabi.
Hmm.
Interesting that would be under. I mean, these are four of the most important historical relics in the Uralite civilization. This tomb is of no mere um, religious leader. This is someone very important. I, for one, believe it's Ural herself, but that is seems to be some debate by the young ones.
Mortimer, we got another room we want you probably want to look at too.
More exciting than this room?
Maybe not more exciting, but almost.
Well, lead the way. As
Lead the
students,
way.
make sure you catalog everything. I want to have an exact depiction of every glyph and carving and all facets of this room.
I don't know if you two are following me, but I'm taking him to the dance room.
I am gonna kind of hang here for a minute. I want to inspect this glass. It's solid glass all around. Does it look like there's any door or latch or any way into this um,
Which one are you looking at?
case? You know what? To keep it a little bit more inconspicuous, I'm gonna look at the dagger.
The dagger. Okay.
Yep.
So all the cases appear identical. They're glass pentagonal coverings sitting on top of a stone tablet. They're various sizes and shapes depending on what's underneath them, but the structure and the type of them seems to be the same. So you can picture like the glass you'd see in like an aquarium in somebody's home in terms of thickness. Um, they um, they all appear to have a hasp latching mechanism that would require like kind of like a briefcase where you have the little
Hmm.
twisty thing to like flip the thing and then flip it open, and the cases
Hmm.
could be open sort of clamshell style. Um,
Got it. But it doesn't look like they're locked down in any way.
um, well, they have those latches, whether they're locked or not,
Right, right. But
you can't tell.
okay.
Um, Let me just read everything. Yeah, so that's about all you can tell.
Yeah. So like I'm kind of looking at this dagger, but kind of side eyeing the book, and um,
Rolfo appears behind um, Mortimer, and he's with you,
Oh, he's
Mike.
with me.
Kalas dips deeper into this room with Swift. Farah's hanging out over here. Scholars and Varen are kind of milling about. Varen seems pleased, like he got his money's worth, like he's special. Jeff, what are you doing?
Yeah, what is Jeff doing?
I'm hanging out.
Okay. Um, Jin, you're inspecting the thing.
Yeah, like I'm basically I'm trying to figure out a way in.
Are you trying to
And
open the
where
case?
to? No, 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 no.
Okay.
I haven't touched it yet. I'm just looking at it at this point. Uh, who's in the room? So we got Varen and Farah in the room.
Varen, Farah, Leganor, and all the young students
Oh, the young students, right? Okay.
milling
I'd
about,
like to come over.
milling
I'd
about
also like
various
to.
different containers. So there's, they're everyone's at one of them.
I'd like to inspect the sarcophagus a bit.
Okay.
Has that been wiped off at all?
Yeah. So it's been wiped off and revealed. Um, the so it appears to actually be a burial sarcophagus,
Hmm.
flat on the laying flat on the stone. It has a thick stone lid that's currently sealed and closed. The carvings all around the edges are similar to those that you saw in that other tomb at the Sturgis's temple, um, with the carving in the top, that depiction of that Ural goddess that you saw, the statue that you've seen before.
Hmm.
So it's a
Okay.
familiar series of carvings depicting the tomb of somebody, but the size of it, the scope of it, and of course everything else in the room just has an air of grandiose. Everything looks very ornate and intricate, which could be that they all do, and the other one was just old and more weathered, or it could actually be special. The jury seems to be out based on listening to the scholars. I think you're up, Jeff.
I'm the my character's thinking of a way to do the old Indiana Jones sleight of hand trick with the book, but I don't have anything I can replace it with. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's under glass.
that, of course, as well. Like even if we open it up, it would still this would be a lot more obvious than the tears. So I'm just kind of laying low, nosing around, licking my finger. What's this in the glass? Kind of going around to the other things.
I
Just
gently try to get your attention.
I look over and I use my subtle somatic component for whisper, which is a beard stroke over the mouth. Say, what is it?
I make it is. Let's see. Where am I? Uh, I'm here. I'm trying to get you.
So when I say something, you can speak back to me, and no
He
one else can
cast
hear
he
it.
cast
Oh,
message. You said
Yeah.
whisper, which is probably what
you said
confused Zach.
whisper. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was something different.
Oh, I'm sorry. Message.
Message.
It's a
Oh,
whisper.
perfect. Okay. If we can get that out, I can replace it with prestidigitation.
Ah.
We just got to get it out somehow.
I say back to him, it probably would be best if if the scholars open these cases, or if there's some kind of commotion, but we don't even know if they opened that.
Hmm. All right, let's see how this plays out. Thank you.
Oh,
I got s'mores.
not to be outdone,
Oh
I
my.
see.
That's it. Yeah.
That's funny.
Some more. Oh
Using
boy.
message again, I say perhaps we should wait for Wallace to come back so we're all on the same page.
Agreed.
Cool. I'm sure he'll be
So I
back
guess
momentarily.
And it's also the
boots
middle
around
of the
this room
night.
for a bit.
We're gonna have to bed down at some point.
Yeah, it's definitely super late. But like everyone's just so excited.
Out of character, I'm trying to. Actually, I can't say that because it's kind of cheating. So once again, using message to Jin, I say, if we can get all of these frail-bodied scholars in the same vicinity, I might be able to make them fall asleep. But it won't work if the other mercenaries are in the mix.
We could probably get them out of the room and just get the scholars in there. But then I'd have to be around as well to make the replacement.
Why don't we wait for Wallace to come back?
I agree.
And on that note, I need to go put food in the oven.
Sure. Seems like we have a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he comes back as soon as Jeff leaves. Perfect timing. You return as soon as Jeff decides that we have time for him to go put stuff in the oven.
I can leave again.
No, it's fine. Actually, you're in a different location, so you can just do what you're doing.
Oh god, we split the party.
No, it works out. So yeah, so you come to this room, and Mortimer walks in, and he's like gobsmacked, like this, this is all of them.
All of what?
They're all here. I've never seen a single collection of the rituals. This is like it's like a walk. It's like a walking dictionary. It's like a dictionary in a room. It's a whole encyclopedia of every. This is incredible. And he's just like wide-eyed, wandering around the room, looking at all the different engravings and carvings. Rolfo walks in. He's like, "Eh, I don't think I'd put it up in my living room, but it's got an interesting look to it."
I like the way you think, Rolfo. So I'm literally gonna start like pointing at random spots and just I'm hoping at this point like they're like trying to see if there's anything that sticks out of me that looks like a desert, but I'm without trying to be too obvious. Like so, like what does this one mean? I'll point at I don't know one.
Are you just pointing at anywhere, or are you pointing at something specific?
Well, so I mean, we figured out right that one of them was like the end was a door, like so that was the one that had a door. So like I'm trying to see if there's any of them that I don't know, maybe my investigation check can give me some sense of like, is this the one that might be desert? And point at it and get them to see like, so what does this mean?
Okay. So first, I'll have you make an investigation check to see if anything strikes out as you. Okay. Next, I will tell you that the first one you pointed to was the door open rune because you were familiar with it. And
Okay.
when
Yeah,
what he said to you was, um, well, I can't say that I've seen all of these before. I mean, frankly, I don't know that anyone's ever seen a single collection of of a catalog of the Eurolite prayer dances in such a neat and organized manner. This one appears to be depicting motions, and he's like rubbing his hand. You can tell he's like doing the translation internally, and he's like, this seems to activate door opening and locking mechanisms. By Jove, I wonder if one of the students did this to open the door before. I don't recall them performing these motions, but this we'll have to copy this down. This one over here, most of these in this corner, and he points to a bunch of smaller. There's like different sizes of the people in the drawings. So like the smaller ones seem
right.
to depict not even prayer dances sometimes. It's just like this is how we used to get water from the river, and this is how we used to tend our flock. Like literally the way Egyptian hieroglyphs are. They're just some of them are just depicting life and how they're
I guess I'll try to point at the seven largest ones, right? There were seven
ah
large ones.
This is incredible. I recognize one of these and could tell you that that's definitely the dance of fertility. And he points to the fifth one down the line. And what you see is a series of images that involve a priest and a priestess. So you can tell the carvings either depict a male or a female, and the ones that are Urolite priests have like specific robes in the depiction. It
Hmm.
depicts what clearly appears to be um, man and lady fun times in various positions. The final frame of the dance depicts the pair holding each other with their arms in like a cradling position, holding nothing. They're just in that position, but with smiles in their faces.
So Kama Sutra.
Kind of, but less pleasure based and more reproductive generation based.
Functional.
Yeah. These others, I've not actually seen them. This is all new. You have to understand. I mean, we've only been able to recover small smatterings and pieces from the various pot here and tablet there, and antechamber that we've discovered. I've never been in the presence of so many. This is an incredible discovery. We'll need to
So
get
is there a reason? That,
we'll need to get
is there a
another
reason
team
that?
in here to catalog it all.
Is there a reason there's these 7 are the biggest ones?
Um, well, the dance of fertility was very important to the Uralites. I would assume that the rest of these are of equal import.
We have no idea what they are though.
I can't say that I recognize them. It's incredible. They're so intricate. And he's like just staring up, looking at them and checking them out. Are you looking at them?
Yes, I'm trying. I mean, I'm looking to one to see if there's anything that I don't know jumps out at me that's like. I don't know if there's anything about fertility that made it obvious besides them hugging.
Okay.
I don't know what a symbol that looks like for desert.
So I will describe to you in detail the 7 dances that I have written out.
Okay.
So the top
Can you
row.
act them out for us?
No. Well, because in many cases I actually can't. You'll understand when I start reading them. The top row depicts priestesses beginning in a curled position, squatting with their arms around their knees and their chin tucked to their chests. Over the course of the images, the priestesses appear to gradually stand more and more erect, and their arms stretching first out to their sides, then over their heads with their fingers spread, and then finally over the course of different images, their arms appear to sway left and then to the right.
All right. So the top one's YMCA. Keep going.
The second dance depicts priests beginning from an upright position, arms at their sides. Then their arms move out to the right. They swing up over their heads, and as they come down in front of their bodies, they bend forward with their both hands touching the ground. The final positions show the priests motioning their hands as if erupting from the ground where they were previously laid, and then pointing into their mouths. And the final frame depicts them clasping their hands over their bellies and leaning back with smiles in their faces.
Okay. So food, growth, food, kind of situation going on there.
The
Okay.
third
Like how do you
one,
grow food? Right.
this third dance depicts priests facing one another in pairs. The priests on the left show movements, appearing first to lean toward their partner with their arms outstretched in front of them. They make grabbing motions as if pulling an invisible rope. Once they pull their hands in towards their bodies, they cast them down to the ground, now facing the viewer and not to the right, so they're facing out towards you, the viewer. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Feet shoulder width apart. The priests on the right, their movements appear to be reacting to that pulling motion of the left priests, leading with their chests. When the left priests cast their hands down, the right priests seem to fall to the ground, limbs bent, lying on their backs.
Okay. So that sounds like literally pulling organs out of people to kill them. Moving on.
The next dance depicts a priestess on all fours crawling to the right of the frame, with several other priests beginning by standing upright, arms stretched to the sky and fingers spread. With each frame, the priestess appears to grow weaker, holding herself up less and less. As this occurs, the surrounding priests begin to draw their arms in, close their hands, bend their knees, and the final frames depict her reaching an outstretched hand to the sky, before the last image of her face down on the ground, with the surrounding priests fully crouched, tucked, chins tucked, and arms around their knees.
That sounds like a sun with a person dying slowly, and the sun goes down, but it doesn't matter. That sound. I'm guessing that's it so far. Keep going.
The next one is the Dance of Fertility. I already explained.
That's the fifth one. Okay, so the
The
fourth one
next
to me sounds like the one that would be what we want, but keep going.
the next one appears almost the inverse of two ago. The priestess begins face down on the ground. She's surrounded by priests in that crouched position with their chins tucked. Then, with each subsequent frame, she picks herself up to all fours, crawling to the left. Simultaneously, while the surrounding priests become more and more erect, stretch their arms to the sky. The last frames depict her fully standing erect. The surrounding priests are standing fully upright with their fingers and arms spread out.
Alright, never mind about my previous thought.
And then the final one depicts a priestess facing the viewer, standing straight. In the next frames, she appears to slightly bend her knees outward, hunch her shoulders, and wave her arms in a circle in front of her torso, like this. She then appears to cast her gaze to the right, her hand shielding her eyes from the light. She then repeats this motion to the left, and finally returns to her bent knee arm wave, and this pattern sort of repeats 3 times.
Okay, I got nothing on that one. Okay. Alright, so I'll look at Mortimer and I'll point at the one that looked like. Well, hell, I'll just go with the fourth one and be like, so, Mortimer, these fascinate me. What could this person symbolize? It looks like they're slowly, like, falling down and dying, and then, like, I don't know, 2 down up, they look like they're coming back up and being okay.
The priestess, they are doing the growth, but it's the inverse. So these are dying. So you see the clutched knees and erect hands. That is seen in many of these, and usually is how the Eurolites would depict foliage, whether the harvest and the plants are growing or the plants are withering and dying back down into the earth. So this one that you pointed out, it seems the priests subsequently the plants are withering and dying and getting weaker. She appears to be struggling. She's growing weaker. Maybe she's hungry or famine. Could be thirsty. Could be sick. Something about that. But with the plants dying and hungry at thirst. It could be anything. It's hard to tell. It could be famine. It could be. But there wouldn't be a dance for famine. We'll have to research this for sure. I would love to, I cannot wait for the second expedition. I'll be going back to the university. I've got to get Frederick and I've got to get Samson. Certainly I have to get Alice. She needs to catalog all this. Yeah, he's like planning the next expedition to come out here and like fully excavate this place. He's bringing a whole team.
I don't know, Jeff, Zach, you've heard all of this. I mean, I would bring you in here and eventually point these out at some point, but thoughts?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not in the room right now. I do have a thought.
Well, we'll have to see if your characters have the opportunity to voice those thoughts.
Oh,
Yes.
fair enough. Okay.
Because they're not with you and they haven't seen any of this.
Yeah, fair point. Okay. All right. In that case, Wallace isn't gonna figure this out on his own. So
as you turn around, Rolfo's like standing on one hand or one foot, trying to like copy some of these different movements. He's like, "This is incredible! I don't know how they got the dexterity for this."
You should do this. Try this one with the one that just. But you're gonna need a partner.
Yeah, hey, I got some practice with that one, I'll tell you.
We're crude. All right.
Give me 5 minutens. I have to get the cat because he's being a jerk. Not even 5. Be like a minute. You can probably still hear me. I don't know how far the range on this headset is.
We can't. Yeah, I am gonna. Although
That's incredible.
Jeff got up.
Where's the cat?
Get up and something.
There he is. Come on, Marty. Get. Where is he? Where'd he go? I know you don't want the light, but I don't know where the cat went. Where'd he go? I lost him. You think so? Oh yeah, that's where he is. Go on. Get out. I hate you. Get. All right. You want your what? Your charger? Where is it? Okay, sorry.
Cat wants a charger?
No. Okay. Cat ruins everything.
So the DM has cast invisibility on himself, but he can still talk to us.
What'd you say there? Yeah, he's a jerk. Cats. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I need light to plug your charger in. Okay. You're all set. Here
In
it
the
is.
in the absence of the DM, I'm going to assume that I automatically pass my sleight of hand check.
You're all set? It's not charging? Oh, okay. You're all set? Okay. Is he good? He's with you. As far as I know. No. I can't see anything. He's on the bed. You see him? He's at the edge of the bed. Alright. Okay. Cat's all set. Doc's all set. Everything's all set.
Why do you have to acquire a cat?
I have to get him out of the bedroom because he is a jerk and he won't leave the dog alone while people are trying to sleep. Okay.
Cats are jerks. Okay. I was saying when sleeping.
As you were saying. Where are we at? What did I miss?
I just got
I'm
back.
going back to the main room.
Okay. So Mortimer hangs back in the prayer room because he's just cataloging. Since he doesn't have light, he holds Rolfo back with him.
No, they would need their own light source since my shield left them, but
Yeah, well, Rolfo has a torch. Wallace, you enter in, and you can see all the different scholars cataloging and drawing and taking notes and pontificating and discussing. All the cases are still closed.
As soon as I see Wallace, I'm going to cast a message and whisper to him, "This is the book we need. I think it best to wait until this expedition is about to leave, or beds down for the night, and then we can try to get it out of the case."
okay.
Mike Irwin's enjoyment of the spell message is one of my favorite things in Dungeons and Dragons.
I mean, I think getting it while they're sleeping is going to make it know that it's missing in the morning, and then they'll want to let it go away. And I don't know if that's such a great idea.
Jin has offered to create an illusory distraction.
I'm looking back and forth between you two. Like I can see like your eyes, like you're talking, but I'm like, what?
When I see that, I look at Jin. I say, "I'm telling him the plan." So, Mike, did you catch all that?
Catch what now?
Okay, so once again, using message, I whispered him to Wallace. Either we have to wait for them to leave, or we have to wait for everyone to fall asleep. Then Jin can create an illusory duplicate of the tome, assuming we can get this case open.
Looking over at Sparkles. Alright. I think we gotta guess what the deserty, dry dance thingy is? I don't know. The thing over down the side of the room. We got to figure out.
You cut out for like the last.
He
half of what you
knows.
said.
It's message. He's playing with message. Because you only get 25 words.
Let's assume that it's cast and recast and cast and recast.
Let
Yeah,
him
but that's gonna
roleplay. Mike, take inspiration for that. That's fantastic.
Thank you kindly. All right. So through what is gonna be some on and off stuff, just because Wallace tends to talk really fast, and if you think it's going off really fast in the out of his mouth, how do you think it fast is going out of his brain? There's going to be 25 words. There's a bit of a limit that's going to be happening, so you're going to have to cost message a couple times. So,
I have a very itchy beard, so
yeah. I guess we'll eventually figure out the communication of like. So if Sparkles can make a copy, that's fantastic. We got to figure out which one of these dance mural thingies is the one we want. I think it might be the middle one, the fourth one of the 7. That's middle, right? Middle. But yeah, we're gonna have to go figure that out. So I don't know if we want to do that now, since we have to wait for people to, calm down around all this. I don't know. It's like what? It's the middle of the night, so hopefully people start to get tired. I'm getting tired. I got my adrenaline pumped up thinking there's going to be things around here that are going to be trying to attack us, and all of a sudden, and I just cut out because, now you try to cast message, and I'm just in the stream of consciousness at this point. It was just like, I just thought I was going to be talking at some point. It was going to be ghosts. It was like, and then we got those bats that were flying out of us. Everybody, the room probably thinks it's a little weird because Wallace is just,
Gesticulating silently.
gesticulating myself at this point.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Farah actually walks over to you and puts her hand on your shoulder.
Oh.
You seem, agitated.
I whispered to him message to him once again. Calm the fuck down.
I gotta look at her.
Calm the fuck down.
I got bad experiences being on the ground. I was expecting
We're fine.
creepy crawly to come out.
Wallace,
That's all.
stop.
You're right.
Stop.
I gotta.
Talk to Farah.
This is out loud to her.
Yeah, this is what he's saying to her.
That's out loud to her.
Oh, I thought you were messaging.
No.
No.
I was messaging
This is
you.
me back to Farah. Like I got bad experiences going underground to places like this. I'm used to things coming out of walls. This place it's dead. It's literally dead. I guess I should go to sleep.
It is a tomb. It is very dead. I'm tired of looking at these toys. I will sleep as well. Colors!
I'll wink it. I don't know. I'll wink it fingers. And I'm actually gonna go up. I'm headed back to the entranceway.
Colors! I go back to bed.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, kitty. That roll.
What are you doing, Zach?
I am going to cast light on 2 little pebbles and leave them on the sarcophagus, so it's nice and bright in this room.
Is that
basically
concentration?
discouraging anybody from bedding down. It is not.
So it just happens.
No, light is not coming. It just lasts for an hour.
An hour, okay.
That's fine, but I'm just trying to discourage people from bedding down in this room.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I doubt they will. They're probably running from pure adrenaline at this point.
Let me just...
But I want this room empty.
Yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, light lasts an hour.
Neat.
And actually, how many light spells can you cast at once? Let's see. Oh, actually, I probably would have gone over Sparkles. Can you turn this off? How do you make this stop? Oh,
Done.
that's convenient. All right.
It's not.
If you need me to, I don't know, open some more doors or something, come get me. But I'm gonna go try to get a couple hours of shut eye in case. I don't know, things get dicey.
Yeah, so Farah beds down in the little spot that she had over here.
Is that in the foyer?
Yeah, Callus
Yeah.
heads over here as well.
We're all over here.
As time goes on, Rolfo makes his way back to the lobby. He comes up to you, Wallace, and he basically says, "Well, this is a heck of a find. We're probably gonna have to lead another expedition, quite large one. You know, there might be some more work for you in the future."
Who's he talking to?
This
He's
is,
talking to me.
yeah, he's talking to him.
Yep.
I'm gonna. We'll, we'll see, Rolfo. We were hired on to be logging through woods and protecting people. This whole underground thing gives me skittles, what's the word I'm looking for?
Skittish.
Get you
Skittish.
skittish.
Is that a word?
Skittish is a word, yeah.
The point
Interesting.
being,
I mean, you knew you were coming here, didn't you?
well, yeah, but we knew we weren't gonna be going underground like this far.
Well, I guess that's true.
This is the whole like the dust and I'm used to things jumping out of the wall. Like I said, it's just like I'm used like that's why I was happy doing swamp work. As much as it's icky, it's still sunlight. Anyway,
That makes
we'll
sense
see.
to me. Mortimer comes back into the square room where you are, Ilvalian. Varen heads up into and goes to bed, taking a nice, comfortable spot by the brazier in the artifact room. The scholars start to leave, but Mortimer remains behind, cataloging information about the different cases. All the other students eventually get tired and head to bed. Everyone has agreed that, they don't want to disturb anything here now because they didn't expect to find anything, so they don't have the appropriate tools to preserve and truly take care for these artifacts. They're going to have to return at some point on another expedition to excavate, so to speak, and fully map out and plot the whole temple. But Mortimer is just like enamored by the shield. He actually looks at you, Jin, and he says, "Do you know the tale of Aeolian?"
I've not heard it.
Aeolian was one of the great warriors and leaders of the Eurolites, and it was said that he was the great protector of the civilization. He carried that staff, the Rod of Life, and this shield. In fact, the image emblazoned on the brass is, in fact, him holding that staff and this shield and leading his men into battle. These sun rays depict um, the 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 spiritual divine powers that he was able to channel with the prayers of the Uralites and their magics, um, as he was quite I guess by today's standards one would call him a cleric, a paladin. He was a holy man of sorts in the Uralite religion. Wonderful, wonderful tale. He fought back countless other civilizations, bringing glory to the Uralites. And then he kind of
I just
mutters
kind
off
of
to himself, continues looking at artifacts.
yeah, just like okay, cool, interesting. How can I get him out of this room?
What are you doing, Jeff? Oh, okay, cool.
I get out of this room. How do I do that?
I miss anything?
Um, Mortimer was
Just before we
regaling Jin with the tale of what the Aegis of Aeolian and who Aeolian was.
Is it only the three of us in the room?
Yes.
Okay. And there's no one else.
Yeah, all the
Three of the
scholars have bedded down.
So
Mortimer's
us,
just
the PCs, and Mortimer. Right?
it's Mortimer,
Mhm.
you, and Jin are in that room left.
Okay. I'm just gonna I know my token's been static, but I've obviously I haven't been puppy guarding the book. I've kind of been walking around. Oh, this is interesting. Trying hard not to look too interested, but still somewhat interested, of course.
Fine line.
Basically, what I'm waiting for is for Mortimer to either say, "All right, let's get out of here," and then I know there's no one else in the room that's not on the same page, or I don't know. I'm
That's what
trying to. Oh, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead, Evie. That's exactly what I'm kind of doing the same thing. I'm just trying to clear this room out somehow.
Mortimer doesn't appear to be losing steam anytime soon.
Hmm.
I mean, he's like a 55-year-old guy who has devoted his life to the study of the Eurolites, and until today, all he's ever been able to see in person are scraps and pieces of recovered pottery and tapestries. And all of a sudden, he, you know, found his way into King Tut's tomb.
Yeah, we've stumbled onto the find of his lifetime.
Okay. Let me know when he gets to a corner of the room, and then I'm gonna message Jin, and I'm gonna say, stand as far away from Mortimer as you can.
Roger that. Let me get back here.
Yeah, I took myself out of this scene. Okay.
Okay. When he gets to there, I'm going to hold on. Give me a second. Don't move me for a sec. I'm going to pretend like I'm leaving the room. Is his back to me?
At this point, he's looking at the dagger, which he has called the Griffin's Bite.
Okay. And there's no one else in that room, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to upcast sleep as a second level spell, which gives me 78 of hit dice. And I'm going to cast it in this corner of the room, so it hits him, but it doesn't hit us.
Okay.
All right. So I guess just slash roll 78.
You can just hit sleep, right, and cast it.
What?
You should be able to just cast sleep, like cast the spell in your character sheet.
Right, but I don't have it as a second level spell in my sheet. It's a
It'll,
first level
yeah,
spell.
when you cast a spell, it'll ask what level. Oh, it doesn't
Can
do
I
the
just
roll.
roll?
Oh, you link the spell card. You should
So
be
I
able.
have
You should be able to just cast the spell. Today we're gonna learn how spellcasting works in Roll20.
output attack. That's what it's set to.
Interesting. Interesting.
Maybe it doesn't count it as an attack.
I can
That
just
is a
roll
weird.
slash 78.
Yeah, you can. I want it to work the way it's supposed to work.
Would you like me to, or do we want to figure this out?
No, you can just go. Oh, no. Now I'm going and adding spells to your character sheet. Okay.
If that man has more than 43 hit points, I'm gonna be genuinely
Oh,
shocked.
no, he definitely falls asleep.
Okay. Instantly, I look at Jin and I say with message, stand here.
Hang on, I need to roll a die. He's looking at the dagger. He's looking. He falls asleep. I need to make a roll. Okay. He does not. He does not crash into the case as he falls, shattering it.
Oh, okay. Encountered
he shattered the glass?
He does not, because I rolled a 13. He does not fall
Okay.
face forward into the glass case, shattering it as he falls unconscious.
Okay.
You must think of your the consequences of your actions.
I point and I say, go stand in this corner and alert me if anyone's coming.
Okay, I will have a continuous eye looking out the door into this room to see if anybody's within eye shot.
Anyone notice? Because they kind of have a line of sight from that room into this room, yeah?
Oh yeah. I can see you from where I'm sitting, even though
But
my eyes
are you guys asleep? Like, does anyone see him fall?
Everybody's trying to take a nap, I think.
Everyone is
Asking the
attempting
GM.
to go to bed, yes.
Okay,
So no one's really paying
no one
attention.
saw him. I'm just wondering if anyone saw him slump to the floor and in
If-
the middle of us trying to do it.
If they were looking at him, they could have, but everybody's going to bed.
So luckily, no.
So nobody's really paying
So
attention.
he's asleep on the floor. Okay. Then I'm going to say to Jin with message, he's out. Let's give it another few minutes and make sure everyone's out cold.
Okay, and I turn off the light from my little
What are you doing, Wallace?
light cast.
You need to read that spell description, Jeff.
What?
Duration, big guy. You would know because your character would know this.
Yeah, sleep lasts a minute.
Oh, okay, a minute. Oh,
So you have a minute to do whatever you're going to do.
how did I miss that? Okay, then scratch that. It's sleight of hand sign on the book side.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me, but I turned off the light on my stone there.
Okay.
I'm going to use my.
I'll leave it
last
open just so you
second
can see what you're doing, but
Uh-huh.
I
I'm gonna use
noted.
my last second level slot to cast silence in the room. Then I'm going to open. I'm gonna put it right in the middle of the room, so the whole room is under the spell of silence.
Okay.
Okay. And then I am going to try to open up the bookcase shelf, or the case with the book in it.
How are you trying to open it?
Sleight of hand on the latch. I mean, it's quiet, but I know I know there's a ticking clock. So you said there's latches on the outside.
Yeah, they're all latched shut with mechanical looking like latches.
Okay, then I go to the top one and I try to.
So the little flipper doesn't open. It's stuck shut. So it's locked in place. There's a lock.
Lock in place. There's no, and more force doesn't cause it to budge.
Do you apply more force?
Yes.
Roll an athletics check.
I'm not good at athletics.
Okay. You're trying to force it open, and it's like trying to turn a locked doorknob.
So nothing.
It's locked.
I mean, what he said.
So it's not budging or anything like that.
So maybe we just don't understand the mechanic of this thing. Did you say it was sort of like a briefcase tumbler, and that there's like things we have to like move
Not a
in order to get it to
tumbler, but like there's those latches where it comes over and then it turns
Okay.
so that the latch can't open back up. Well,
So he just has to turn something to unlock it.
it's not turning. It's locked. You have to
It's not-
unlock it so that you can turn it to open the thing.
Is
But
it
it's not-
obvious at all how to unlock it?
It's like a mechanical lock. You've seen locks before.
So it takes a key.
One would assume.
So there's a keyhole or something like that.
Yeah. Sorry, I apologize if I'm making it sound more complicated than it is. It's just a locked latch, that like a regular, something you've seen before, locked latch.
Okay, so if there was a keyhole, I wouldn't then try to just manually open something without having a key.
Hence my confusion to you saying you were doing that.
Well, did you give me my thieves' tools last time around?
Nope.
No.
'Cause if you didn't, no, you didn't. I thought you said you gave me those, but not the disguise kit.
I don't think I gave you thieves' tools because I don't think Sturgis believed you needed them to be a bard.
Well, if I don't have my way of bypassing the locks, then I wouldn't have done any of this having seen a keyhole. I wouldn't, like,
Yeah.
I could have sworn you gave me the thieves' tools, but not the disguise key. I'm not trying to question you. I'm just saying. I remember getting one of those, but not both.
Okay, then you'll have the thieves' tools because I know you didn't have your disguise kit. So your memory trumps mine.
Um, then I'm going. I don't know what I need to roll to use the thieves' tool. Is that sleight of hand? Is that
Yeah, you should just roll
It
your
should be
thieves' tools.
it should be its own proficiency at the bottom of the list.
Oh, nobody set up
Proficient.
the query. Hang on. Query attribute. It's a dex-based query.
It should be under skills.
so? That'd be dexterity, right?
Flute is a charisma-based query.
That you would technically have proficiency in, right? So
Disguise kit
Oh,
is
there you
a
go.
charisma-based query. There you
he rolled something.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. So you successfully pick the latch on the locked mechanism, and the flipper now can freely spin.
Okay, so can I open the case, or do I have to? You said, is there only one flipper, or is there more than one?
There's one latch that holds the clamshell type glass lid.
Okay, as soon as that's open, I'm gonna.
Okay. Dun 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 dun. DC 18. Yep, you did that.
Wow.
Smashing. You didn't smash it. So. Okay. So you flip the flipper. You open the latch. You're just like lifting the case clamshell hinge open.
Yeah, I'm grabbing it, and then as soon as I grab it, I'm gonna, tap Jin, like do the thing with your spell and create the duplicate, and then
Cool.
closing.
So as you grab the tome off of the pedestal, you hear a eardrum shattering, deafening screech come from behind
No, I
you.
don't.
Through the silence spell?
No, I don't. Silence is active.
Can be Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah, you're deafened entirely inside of it, so you don't hear anything. Noted. So you grab the
No suspenseful music here.
phenomenal. Yeah, so you open the case. I forgot about the silence. You open the case, you grab the tome, and then what do?
I take it, close the door, tap Jin on the shoulder. He knows already to use prestidigitation to create an illusory duplicate of that book that lasts for an hour. Right?
Yeah, I
I
think it lasts
believe,
for an
but it
hour.
is it's a cantrip, so it lasts up to 1 hour. But I will continue to cast it as long as needed. Oh,
He's not gonna be able
So yeah,
to.
Jin, you turn around and see that, and Jeff, you
that's
are
right.
you are struck by a thing
Oh,
that
hello.
you can't hear and had no idea was there.
The only
For the
reason I
moment
looked is because you tapped
I
me on the
tapped
shoulder.
Jin, he would have turned around and seen it.
Yeah,
Right?
as soon as he turned around, he
Yeah.
saw the following occur, which is a mummy, I guess, that attacks you with a 22.
Oh, shit, son.
Wow.
So that mummy got out of the sarcophagus faster than, like, I grabbed the book, he cast the spell. That's 2 seconds that passed, right? You're saying the mummy got up and attacked me faster than that?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yep. The lid of the thing is shattered and spread across the room behind you, and this thing is standing directly because it was right next to you, and you're hit with that thing.
You roll a con saving throw.
Yeah, so you gotta roll con.
Take my inspiration.
Oh no.
I don't know if I can do that now that he already.
You can't give
Can I do
him
that
your
too?
inspiration. That's not how inspiration works.
Oh, I thought you could share. I thought you could share inspirations. All right, never mind.
Well. Oh no. Now you have.
I still don't see how a mummy shatters the thing faster than I can go swipe. He casts, and like the moment he turned around, he would have seen the lid coming off and everything.
Yeah, Jin turned to see rubble as a mummy lifted itself out of the sarcophagus and hit you because it's right there.
Oh, it's hitting you from inside the sarcophagus.
Yeah, sorry, it's in the wrong square. It was on the GM layer. They didn't move it. I guess it's technically here.
Oh, so it literally sat up and hit you.
Yeah, it just happened.
Okay.
It
It's
like
not
it
you,
was
like,
laying
climbed
down.
out.
You grabbed the thing, which triggered the event. It burst through the lid, sat up, and swiped at you with its rotting fist. And since you couldn't hear anything, you were surprised by it, which is why now everybody can roll initiative. Well, the three of you at least, because no
Did
one
we
else
at least
no
get
one
off
else hears any of this happening.
Did we at least get off the prestidigitation? Is there a book in there?
I would say
Um,
that I definitely guessed. As soon as you tapped me on the shoulder, I was prepared for it, so I would say that I got that off.
sure. I don't know that it's gonna matter a whole heck of a lot, but yeah.
Probably not, but just in case.
All right, I gotta clear. Hang on, I gotta clear. Remove all the turns. Clear, and then I gotta add turn.
Well, okay, it's 10:45. Do we want to? I don't know, Jim. Do you have a time frame? Do we want to stop this
Yeah,
now?
no, I wasn't gonna start combat at 10:45.
Okay.
Nat 20. With a 0 bonus.
Oh man, it's supposed to say a mummy, I guess. Why is it saying mummy lord? Because I altered it. It's not actually a mummy lord. It's a.
Right.
It, I didn't want it to say mummy lord because I didn't want you to think that's what it was.
I mean, I don't. There's nothing on here that says Mummy Lord on my screen, but
The initiative
That's a high
says mummy
initiative.
lord. It should say a mummy, I guess.
on my screen I just see initiative.
Oh, maybe it only tells me. Well, then I ruined it.
Would you like me to roll initiative or just continue to be sleeping?
um, at this
Getting into
stage,
bed.
you have no idea anything's going on.
Okay.
Well, hang on. How would silence work? Would the sound just be silent until it gets past the barrier, and then the literal physical concussion waves that make sound would proceed after that, or does all sound get
No sound can
muffled?
be created
Created.
within
Okay,
or
so it can't be
passed
created.
through.
I mean, I have line of sight technically, so if I would leave it up to the GM whether or not, like, as I'm getting into bed or as I'm like rolling, I sort of look over and like I just happen to see this thing sticking out of the sarcophagus.
Can you? Oh, I guess technically. Yeah, flip a coin.
Uh.
No.
Well, hopefully I get some good night's sleep. Mm-hmm.
So, and that's where we will pick up at the start of next session.
Fantastic.
It's a beautiful spot
I
right
feel like
there.
if I'd standing here, he wouldn't have been able to swipe me.
Correct. So I was gonna do the whole like screech, smash, and everything, but you said it was silent, so I was like, all right, well then it's surprise. You don't hear anything.
Nope, that's there's pluses
Um,
and minuses to that.
what was I gonna do? I need to do something else. Oh, you know what? You would actually hear some noise, Mike. You would hear a stone slidey, hingy noise as the sarcophagus in this room opens up.
Oh boy.
Just open
Oh,
Pandora.
there are sarcophagi up there.
That's gonna get hairy.
Okay. Shall I roll for initiative then?
Yeah, I guess that makes more sense. I forgot about those guys.
Oh boy. Okay. Doesn't matter. Okay.
But the plus side is all of the turn orders should be saved.
Cool. Oh,
And
God.
we'll pick
So
this
you
up.
do initiative whatever that thing is.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Is that a separate initiative from?
Oh no, yeah, you're right. I gotta remember how the hell I do all this. Oh, I have to go to the objects and tokens layer. Head turn. So many things to manage.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. So we will pick this up in 2 weeks.
Nice.
All right.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Let's say goodbye to the
It's
internet.
gonna be
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. If anyone ever does. um, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks for episode 9.
Join us in 2 weeks for our TPK.
Nah, you guys will be alright, I
Oh,
promise. Maybe.
We have other people to
Yeah,
throw
we
to
got
the
plenty
fray.
of people.
With me
And
first, however.
stream over. Goodbye.